Hello and welcome to a Vanishing Gates movie review. I am Jay and this is...
Katie Cat.
We are your hosts, normally into the strange, the unexplained, the mysterious, etc. Today we're doing another movie review. We haven't done a movie review on Vanishing Gates in quite some time, and it's the first time Katie Cat's done a movie review with me here. Jack is out of town for the next week or so we will catch up with him on a further episode when we're back to our normal show. We saw a movie recently that we're going to talk about today.
A week ago today, we went and saw it.
A week ago today, because it's Tuesday, and we went on a Tuesday, and my brain didn't put that together, but here we are. And we are talking about something that a lot of people are talking about, and that is Longlegs. So Longlegs was written and directed by Osgood Perkins, the son of Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates himself, if you will. I can't pronounce her name. Is it Mika or Micah?
I think it's Micah.
Micah Monroe.
I'm pretty sure.
Stars as the clairvoyant FBI agent Lee Harker, and she's tasked with pursuing a serial killer, Longlegs, quote unquote, played by Nicolas Cage, that is impossible to catch by normal investigatory means. The killer murders families, somehow using the dad to do his dirty work for him. Then, without any evidence left behind, aside from a single note, a cryptic single note at each scene throughout Oregon in the 70s and 90s. So it's a good few decades this film spans. Now, Longlegs is listed as a suspense/thriller with an over-the-top antagonist and supernatural tones. I put that last part in there. Now, Osgood, or Oz, took small inspirations from the John Benet Ramsey killing, and apparently also about his mom. He said in a letter to Nicolas Cage when he sent him the script, Nicolas Cage, I guess when he read the script, he automatically thought that it was about his mom too. So that's the lull moment there.
Interesting.
I guess.
It's kind of interesting.
So let me get the
I
picture.
guess they both had crazy moms.
There's Micah, our protagonist. Lee Harker. Now, we see her on a case, and I don't remember, was it a botched case? I don't remember. Something happened that wasn't correct. Something not good happened in this case.
I don't remember.
Oh,
exactly.
they were going to one of the scenes of the crime, and something happens, and something bad happens, and the next thing you see is she's being tested for clairvoyance by the FBI.
We're trying not to give away spoilers.
Yeah, and this isn't really giving a spoiler away. I already said she was clairvoyant.
Yeah.
It didn't say that directly right away, but I'm familiar with these tests, especially having been doing this show for the paranormal part of it for something like a decade almost. And just growing up, my mom has taken those tests and stuff. So they test your psychic abilities and whatnot. It was obviously one of those tests. So, and from there, she's on the case trying to find this guy because there's no evidence left behind.
Yeah.
So, I liked the acting. I liked the cinematography.
Yeah, the cinematography was really cool. It was really creepy.
Yeah, the mood was well done for the film itself.
Like, it was really dark. The the tones were really cool, like cool tones, and
I would say kind of like brooding, very cool tones, but brooding. Cool tones in a way that makes you anxious.
Yeah.
It definitely plays on your anxieties.
You think something is gonna happen.
Yeah, and it does here and there, but not when you think or how you think. Some of the time, I wish I could say that I didn't kind of sort most of it out in my head well before the ending.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I was actually kind of surprised at what happened. So.
And I mean, I'm known to do that in films, though. Kind of see where it's going before it gets there, before anybody else does. Not that it's special or anything. For some reason, my brain puts those things together. My mom and dad were the same way. They would spoil movies before watching it. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, and I think you're just seeing the surroundings and kind of your head pieces it together a specific way. So what do you think about the acting overall? What do you think of Miss Monroe as Lee Harker?
I thought she was really good. I had never seen her in anything, so I was going off of just seeing her in this movie. I thought she was good.
Yeah, she doesn't come off as bumbling.
She doesn't come off as dumb or
no
clueless or anything.
But she does come off as naive from a lack of experience.
And that, like, she's trying to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's being thrust into something she doesn't quite understand. It feels like.
Yeah.
And that was the case. That that without spoilers, that was the intention, and she plays it really, really, really well. Um, there's going to be more to it. There's too many spoilers for me to go too far into the other characters too much, but I do want to touch base about Nicolas Cage's character, Longlegs, the eponymous Longlegs himself. I'm only going to show that much, and the reason for that is because his character is incredibly over the top in the most Nicolas Cage way
really
possible.
Dramatic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for the record, my favorite Nicolas Cage movie is Willy's Wonderland, and it's because he doesn't talk.
That's your favorite movie he's ever done?
Because he doesn't speak. It's that, Con Air, and then The Rock. And I loved him in those movies. And he talked in those ones. But his best one to me was... But this felt like him as a person who was not a good person.
It did.
To
he
say
made it
the least.
feel really real, like a real person. Yeah.
And to kind of give an idea of his inspiration, the face and stuff, it seems like Oz wanted the character to look kind of like something that reminded him of his mother. Which goes in line with what he wrote on the note to Nicolas Cage about the script. How she would put on beauty product, and I guess that is kind of where they were going with that. The look
white
of it all.
makeup and stuff.
He is a creepy looking guy.
Yeah.
That picture there is not enough to tell you how
when
creepy
you see the rest of his face, you're like, ooh.
And the character as
He's
a whole,
creepy, yeah.
Yeah, and
the voice and just
the voice, the mannerisms are
the singing. Yeah. I'm sure everybody's seen the singing.
Which I guess Nicolas Cage took great inspiration from like glam rock guys that had burnt out in their prime.
Yeah.
And it translates really well. And you actually get some, like the singing, some of it's actually pretty good. Some of it's just ear shattering and just unsettling.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Unsettling is the way to go.
Unsettling, for sure. This whole movie is unsettling, I would call it. I wouldn't call it scary. I would call it unsettling.
Yeah, and there's another thing that he leaves behind that I can't tell you. We can't tell you because it would be a huge spoiler.
Yeah.
In the film. Lee Harker's mom also plays a consistent character in this film.
She's creepy.
Throughout, and she's creepy from the get-go. Very hyper religious at the beginning.
Super,
and you feel like there's something mentally not there.
She's like, well, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah, no spoilers there, but it well acted. I can't remember the actress's name. I should have written that down. Very well acted.
Her, but she was good. Yeah.
I think she's been in a few other things. I'm gonna look really stupid if she's huge, and I just wasn't paying enough attention.
Everybody in the movie was good.
Yeah, I didn't think any of the acting was terrible. There were some scenes that were. It just felt like the mark was off, but overall, for this kind of movie, it was well done.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know what else to compare this to because you can compare it to other movies that have a similar ending, if you will, because there are films that are like that. And that's kind of where I saw it going, and it became very, very obvious. I'm not going to compare the films because it would absolutely spoil it for you.
Yeah.
That said, I feel like overall this movie was really good, and it could have been an awesome horror movie. I say it could have been for a specific reason I'll get into, but I'm not gonna, without spoilers, I'll explain myself. But what are your thoughts in general on it?
I liked it. I thought it was kind of slow at some parts.
It is a slow drag.
It's a slow burn.
For instance,
as they call it.
Yeah, I got up to use the restroom, and I thought we were 20 minutes to a half hour into the movie. It was an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. It's a 2-hour plus movie.
It's funny, the part when you got up to go, you missed a kind of a important part.
Did I really?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I'll watch it again. I'd actually watch it again.
Anyway, yeah, it was a slow burn. I'd call it a suspense thriller. It wasn't a horror movie.
I would call it a suspense thriller with supernatural tones, like I said, because there is a supernatural element. Without spoilers, that I'll just say that. Explaining it further, and religious
Supernatural
overtones as
slash
well.
religious.
Well,
Yeah.
I put supernatural and religious together
That's why I
just
said
as a
slash.
habit. Yeah,
Yeah.
just as a person who, like, we host a show that has been about the paranormal. You know, the paranormal is religion is a paranormal experience. If you
Mhm.
believe it's real, it's paranormal. It's supernatural. I've actually had this conversation a lot of times before. That I'm not going to get into it now, but it's the same thing. I don't care what anybody says. It's the same thing, by
Yeah.
definition. So my takeaway from this is it could have been a really really good movie, except for the ending. The ending disappointed me to a level.
Yeah, the ending was just like, really? It was so like
Yeah, it was
prevented it. I don't know.
it
It was just yeah.
it didn't need to be that way, and it ruined the movie completely. I mean, it did. It killed the movie for me.
Yeah.
It ruined the experience. It took me out of where I was in the film. I felt like it was a different movie.
You felt like you were really getting into it, and then that happened. You're like, oh, well.
Yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, and everybody's gonna have a different opinion on it. For some people, you're gonna think it's brilliant. If you're not someone who goes in and sees movies and goes, oh, I know how this is gonna end, you're gonna think it's the most brilliant thing ever, probably. I would disagree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It sucked, that ending.
The
The
movie didn't suck, but the ending sucked.
And I know people are going to look at that and say, how do you think that ending sucked? And I will gladly have that conversation in the comments below. Please let me know your opinion. And not an argument, but a conversation. I would love to pick your brain on it. I do really want to hear what you guys have to say on this subject, like in how you felt about this movie. I will read the comments and take in what you say. And if it's deep enough and I feel like you've changed my mind, I mean, I might even do another update on it. But I don't see that happening. I've heard this is a super deep movie for most people. I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be. It didn't need to be deep for it to be good, and it was good. Just the ending. There was a funny part with the after credits, the roll, because the credits roll in reverse.
Yeah, that was, and I didn't notice it at first, and then I go, oh, it's going backwards.
We were on our way out of the theater.
Yeah.
And it doesn't roll reverse the whole time. I don't think. I think it switched.
I feel like it switched.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
I could be remembering wrong, but to me in my brain it was wait, we got to stop, and there was nothing afterwards, so that's a spoiler. But there's no point. It didn't need it.
There was no extra scene or anything, but what would they have put?
Well, they could have used that to tie something up for me, but they didn't. So they lost an opportunity there as well, and they do trick you with it, which I thought was actually pretty clever. I do like that part. That was cool, just as from
The
a
song.
from a film nerd
Yeah.
perspective, how they switched those credits up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the song.
No, the
Yeah.
song
The song was
helped.
good.
Yeah, and the music, the score itself, like the background music, was great. I thought that.
Yeah, the sounds and the music were really creepy.
And one thing I'm huge on is practical effects, and I loved the practical effects in this movie. I felt like they
Me
were awesome for the most part. Like, not the best thing I've ever seen, but
Realistic for sure. I think
if you've never seen it, yeah.
most people haven't.
I know. So,
So.
from a mortuary perspective, me having that experience, I'm really hard to sway that something is realistic. And doing special effects myself is a hobby, and like for costumes and for Halloween,
Yeah.
and for some of my friends' school films and stuff, and for haunted houses and stuff, I'm harder to sway about it. It's one of the reasons I don't believe the Bigfoot footage was not a guy in a suit. I could 100% point to 15 people that could make that exact suit.
I would say there was one scene in this movie that was gory that looked really
It was
good.
incredibly graphic, and it
Yeah.
was super well done, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And
It was good.
It was great. I mean,
Yeah.
so definitely watch it. I'll watch it again and see if I pick up on something that. Because I don't want to just scrap it. Because the movie itself, like obviously the ending, you're not going to get around with me. I'm not going to be able to find some bright shining differentiation there.
Yeah.
By rewatching it. It set it in stone. There's no arguing it. It's just what it was. So
I agree.
we're trying to come up with some kind of rating system here, and I
Mm.
haven't come up with it yet. So maybe in the future, in future reviews, because
I mean, I guess we could we do like skulls,
I think somebody else already does skulls. So.
pumpkins.
I 100% know someone does
Or
pumpkins.
jack-o'-lanterns. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments what you guys think we should use.
Yeah,
For right now, we're going to give it a number rating. What do you think, 1 out of 5?
sure. Yeah. What would you give it?
For current horror movies, 1 out of 5, I'd probably give it a 4. It would have been a 5, but the ending killed it.
I agree. 4. Yeah.
I'm being generous, but I also don't want to take away. Part of me wants to be an asshole about it, but I also don't want to take away the good because the movie itself was cinematically very good.
The acting was good.
The acting was
music,
excellent.
Everything else.
The score,
Yeah.
the scenery. I even liked the Foley effects, and that's a tough one for
What is that?
anything. How they make the noises to go with what the
Oh
scene.
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
the Foley
that
artists.
makes it really creepy.
Whoever
Yeah.
the Foley artists were in that film, they are great because
Yeah.
that was great. The practical effects and the Foley artist in general,
That made
way
it
to
creepy.
go.
Yeah.
There were some other things that had to do with ballistics that I'm not going to get into. That's me being a gun nerd. But overall, yeah, go see it. I'm going to watch
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
So, and please let us know what you thought in the comments below, man. We really love that. Give us a like if you liked the video. And tell us, what other movies we should review. We're going to do one for Maxine because we saw that recently. And we're going to do one for an older film we sat through
Yeah.
this last weekend. But we haven't gotten to that yet. I will get to that. We will get to that soon.
Well, eventually, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am Jay, and this is
Katie Cat.
for Jack. Good night, and good nightmares.
Bye.